The garden training packages cover biointensive gardening techniques, and there are 3 more techniques that all trainees should be using in their gardens: vegetative propagation, providing support for their vegetables, and providing supplemental fertilization. The first one we want to talk about is vegetative propagation, which is basically just another way of planting vegetables, but without using seeds. There are 4 types of vegetative propagation that will be covered. Here we're talking about things like ginger or turmeric, and also potatoes. In each case, what you're basically doing is cutting a piece off of the rhizome or the tuber and planting that directly in the soil. For plants like vetiver or lemongrass, you actually have a number of plants that are growing very closely together. Simply by pulling the individual shoots off, you can plant those and start growing new plants. This would be onions and garlic, where you're actually taking the small plant, which oftentimes grow together in clumps. You're pulling off the small bulbs and replanting those. For plants like mint, sweet potatoes, and cassava, where you're actually taking a portion of the stem plus leaves and putting them back in the soil to grow roots into a full plant. For plants that climb or that have large fruits like tomatoes and eggplants, at some point they're going to be heavy and you're going to want to keep them off the ground. Trainees will be using 3 techniques to support these vegetables: staking, caging, and trellising. In staking, the plants are actually tied to the stake as they grow, using a soft material so as not to harm the plant. In caging, more sticks or iron rebar can also be used. A support is built around the plant, both vertically and horizontally, so as the plant grows, it can spread itself out, but still have the support necessary to keep the fruits from falling onto the ground. Trellising is more commonly used for the climbing vegetables like beans and cucumbers. A trellis requires a little bit more materials, particularly rope, where you would be tying rope between 2 sticks. If it's vertical or a horizontal trellis, you might need to use 4 or more sticks, basically tying the rope from stick to stick in a horizontal manner. We really want to think about adding more nutrients to the soil. The common technique is to use manure or compost to create an extract or a tea. This is done by using a large container, placing a volume of water, using a sack into which is put the manure or the compost, and then by weighting that sack down, putting it into the water and leaving it set open to the air and exposed to the sun for at least 2 weeks. The contents should be aerated, which is why we tie a rope to the sack so that each couple days we're able to bring that sack to the surface, drop it down, releasing the nutrients into the water. Then we can take the water and apply that around the growing plants. It'll seep down into the soil and get to the roots where it's needed. Using these 3 techniques, trainees should be well prepared in order to provide the best possible production and productivity in the farmer or the household's gardens.